Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's TheSirenSayz, and this is my commentary channel where I speak about movies, TV, and soon to come books, and the good, the bad, the ugly, everything I like and dislike, all within and through that frame of media. Now I couldn't, at first I wasn't gonna do it right now, the time that I'm recording this voiceover, because I was just too tired. I was doing a lot today, but I watched the episode and I got my vim, vigor, and vital. And it's not necessarily positive. It's not like the show did something great, but the show helped me with what I'm about to do with these disclaimers. Here is part one. It's a TV show. None of these people are real. Okay? So if I have an opinion, don't get mad at me for it. Just say you disagree and why. Love you guys' comments. It's great. But I'm gonna address some of these comments because some of y'all were very wrong. Or you had misplaced energy, and we need to discuss where that's coming from. Second, I might call Tyler Perry Tyrone Perry. It's because he's pissing me off. It is what it is. Also, if you agree or disagree, put down in the comments. I love your feedback, as you saw in the last one, which is getting a lot of views. Thank you guys so much for blowing up my spot. I will respond to every single one of you. Now, before we go into character by character, because not much happened. We spent the entire episode over at Karen's salon. Well, most of the episode at Karen's salon. I wanted to discuss the comments for just a few seconds, okay? All of y'all were hopping down my throat, metaphorically, talking about how Pam is not Pam's fault, and why would I even more blame Pam? It's Aaron. Aaron is a unaliver. Aaron is a terrible man, and you know, this season is all about exposing, and Tyler's going to expose that Aaron unalived, deleted Jennifer. Look what happened now. The only problem with Aaron and Jennifer at this point is just going to be the fact that they were even in a relationship, and that she was even crazy enough to walk up to Karen, and then they're going to deal with the aftermath of that. Didn't nobody that they actually knew die? Who unalived? A homeless person at the back of the salon. So y'all were all wrong. But here's what I appreciated. I appreciated Karen's energy towards Pam. And I appreciated that it was kind of universally thought of as Pam's fault until the very last second, because that's what we all should have been doing. I don't know how you guys were trying to find all of these weird plot holes to give Pam a pass. And here's why I'm still not going to give her a pass. Because it's still her fault. The good thing about this death is that it's probably going to scare her into doing her job better. I'm going to talk about Pam in depth this episode, because y'all, because I don't bring her up much, you guys don't seem to think this is how I see her. If you see her differently, that's fine. This is how I see her and her character, so you can understand why I blamed her. Alright, so just to say, y'all need to apologize to Aaron. I expect to see sorry my bro down in the comments below, because y'all were going off on Aaron. I told y'all. And first of all, it was plausible that Jennifer, whatever, it's not even plausible. It's Tyler Perry logic that it was possible, but it wouldn't be a good idea, and that still wouldn't be Aaron's fault. So he breaks up with somebody and all of a sudden their unaliving is completely Aaron's fault. In the same way that it wasn't fully Pam's fault, it wouldn't fully be Aaron's fault either. And I don't know why you guys are so biased against him. Is it church hurt? Because I've had church hurt, and I've never just blamed anybody who claims to be a Christian on church hurt. Y'all need to unpack that. Therapy. Alright, let's get into character by character. Pam, immediately. We're going through it quick. Here is how I see Pam. I see her as irresponsible. I see her as childish. I see her as somebody who thinks she knows stuff, but she really doesn't. And I see her as sometimes useful when you want the hot goss. And I say goss because it's gossip. Sometimes it's true, sometimes it's just a rumor. She's not reliable even with that. She could say, hey, I saw so and so and so, and that's only half the story, and so you end up getting these thoughts in your head, and it ends up being completely wrong. Guys, do not defend Pam to me. Do not. Yes, a couple episodes ago, I was lamenting on how I did appreciate that Tyler was giving her more screen time, and I appreciated seeing the progression of her relationship with Karen and how much she cared for Karen as a pregnant woman. And I do appreciate that, but that does not throw away everything that we've seen of her these last 5 years watching this show. Karen is not responsible. A homeless person started the fire, but the curlers were still on. And I'm pretty sure the fire finding something else that was hot didn't help. So I'm gonna need you guys to stop. If it wasn't the host person, it would have been Pam later on. And so I'm glad that she got a wake-up call. I'm glad. I didn't even really appreciate Aaron apologizing to her, but I'm glad he did, because now y'all can get off of him, because y'all were upset that he blamed Pam. Like, who else is he supposed to blame? Because if it was Jennifer, right? If Jennifer was the one who started all this, he wouldn't even have known that immediately. So who else is he supposed to blame? He's supposed to sit down and think for 30 minutes about who could have started the fire if it wasn't Pam? No, he's being emotional. And what he knew for a fact is that Pam is irresponsible, and it is plausible for Pam to have been the one that started the fire. It just is what it is. Oh, just want to say another caveat. If I sound like I'm being really passionate, it's because, you have to go into the world of the show to talk about it. But I really don't take this stuff seriously. I'm just responding to some of y'all who took me blaming Pam, which is the only reasonable thing to do, as like a problem. Please, please. Y'all were blaming a girl who don't even got any time on the call sheet. She ain't got no lines in this season. What? Anyways. Just to say, I'm glad I stuck my heels in. I'm glad that I didn't completely agree with y'all. I just said it's plausible. Most of my comments were I could see where you're coming from. It's possible that Tyrone would do that. But I kept saying to you guys, if you read my comments over and over, that doesn't take away from the fact that Pam is irresponsible. Completely irresponsible. So, she got an apology. And then she kept trying to hammer home after everything was found out. See, it wasn't me. See, it wasn't me. It's not you now. It's like if you drunk drive and then you black out and then there was an accident, but it was actually the other person's fault. So you feel like you shouldn't be penalized for also drunk driving. You are still a risk. And you should still stop the irresponsible behavior. That's how I see Pam, guys. I see her as a drunk driver who does not want to accept responsibility for being reckless. And so when reckless things happen around her, she doesn't want to blame herself. But the same thing that somebody else caused, she could also cause because she's being reckless. That's how I see it. I think the drunk driving is the best example I can think of. Drunk driving, 3-car collision. She didn't start it. Somebody else started it somehow. Because, Tyler Perry logic. But she is still reckless. And I'm not going to get off her neck about that. And no. Sorry. Anyways, Pam, it wasn't Pam. It wasn't Pam. So good for her. But I don't care about Pam much. She's really getting on my nerves. And the way that she was talking to all the men. Like, oh, you guys didn't do well at all. Like, when she spoke to Zach, fine. But when she came at Preston, I'm like, Pam, if you don't shut up. Shut up. Do you even have a stable man? You over here talking to Preston? Shut up, Pam. You could have caused the to me, if I was Pam, even if I was trying to be like, I didn't cause it, I swear I didn't cause it. After I found out how close it was to being me, I would have shut my mouth up. I would have been like, whoop. Avox. Mum's the word. I would never have as much strength as she has. Because what's scaring me is that she is taking the apology and the fact that it wasn't her in stride, like she never did anything wrong, and she's going to continue to be irresponsible. And instead of you guys calling her out for it, you guys are just going to blame everybody else around her. Blame Aaron, blame Karen. Yes, Karen is to blame for this as well. Why is Karen still hiring her? Why doesn't Karen have other employees? Why is she making Pam do all this stuff? Blah, blah, blah. I get that. But let's not use how much we dislike Karen, because Karen is annoying. I agree. Let's not use that as an excuse to get off of Pam, because that doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't make any sense. Okay? Pam is also at fault, and it just is what it is. Okay? It just is what it is. All right. And I'm not gonna apologize for that. I'm so sorry. Like, if y'all were upset with me, like, you're just gonna have to stay upset. The dislike button is down there for a reason. I knew it wasn't Aaron. I knew. And even if it was Jennifer, I still wouldn't have blamed Aaron. You want to know why? Because I see what Tyler Perry is doing to his character. I see how Tyler Perry is trying to butcher him. And I'm not going to sit here and be happy about it and just take his character for whatever Tyler Perry is doing. No, I'm going to be upset that Tyler Perry is butchering him the same way I'm upset that he's butchering Danny and Preston. It just is what it is. Okay? Anyways, next character, let's go into the threes. Let's talk about Sabrina and them for right now. Just like I said, and if you remember, I had brought up that even though Bayou seems cool, Tyler Perry is going to do something to mess him up because, you know, all the guys have to be messed up, whether they are meant to be with the girls or not, or he's messing Bayou up so that she'll get back with Calvin. You guys know I don't care for her and Calvin. I don't care. So her and Bayou had like the perfect lunch date. He was able to take her mind off of what was going on just for a little bit. Then Maurice came, finally being his version of respectful. Bayou just does not like him, like, which is very interesting. Like, Bayou cannot stand Maurice, and the only reason that he paid off the debt was for Sabrina. I'm like, you doing all this for a girl that ain't even let you hit? What kind of TV logic is that? Of course, Maurice is saying he's homophobic. There was traces of that, but I'm not fully sure if it's that or if it has to do with his country's traditions, which could be rooted in homophobia, but I just see this as Tyler Perry ruining Bayou's character so that Sabrina won't choose him. Because you know it doesn't really make sense for her to choose Calvin when Bayou is perfect. So of course he's gonna make Bayou the exact opposite of perfect just so that she knows who she picking. Speaking of Maurice, yeah, let's get into Q. So, oh my god. Honestly, when he spoke to the detective, it just made it all worse for me. Because first, it seems like the logic of the show is that Q can get away with almost anything. But then Tyler Perry, and this is his problem as well. Like, Tyler, if you're gonna be ridiculous, just be campy. Just be campy and be ridiculous. Don't try to weave in fiction and fact. You know, don't try to be realistic and fictitious at the same time. So, the detective saw the footage and realized that that altercation was Q's fault because Q did steal the car and did have a gun. Now, he can't put two and two together and see that maybe Q also has something to do with the bank robbery, but he's an idiot and I'm glad Daddy's not even talking to him anymore. So, Q is nervous because this guy is trying to hold him accountable and telling him to, you know, try to relax himself. Because at this point, Q is messing it up. Apparently that man did get a promotion because of the faulty case he started off Q's word. And I don't feel bad for him at all. You're about to lose your job and you deserve to, because you didn't do your job correctly. You didn't investigate right. You have to investigate right. Okay? So that whole scene just upset me because it just like when I kept saying that all they had to do was call the police on Q for the things that he was doing, like the parties where he let his friends take stuff out of Maurice's house, or the time when Q was beating up Calvin, or the time when Calvin and Q were in a fight and Calvin was winning. Like, everybody who was there at the time should have called the police. And that's why I said, like, Maurice's white gay friend, the one who was like, we should call the police. And Calvin was like, that's some white people shit. What is wrong with you? If you had at least called the police 2 of those times, then Maurice coming back and getting in trouble here and having them review the footage, then they would have seen that there is a pattern with Q where he is delinquent and unreliable. And it would have helped in Sabrina and Maurice's favor. But you up here talking about it's palm colored complected people's stuff. Huh? Because at first, the reason why I would say it but I wouldn't harp on it is because I didn't know the rules of this Tyler Perry world. I don't know, you know, whether or not calling the police would have helped them or aided in Q's favor. But just like I said, But policeman has no loyalty to Q. If Q stabs him in the foot one too many times, he's gone. So all they had to do was keep calling the police. Q stole my car. Q sold my fridge. Q sold my TV. Q sold everything in my house, including my couch. And I did not ask him to do that. You know? All they had to, and I was right, and I'm so glad I was right. All they had to do was call the police, and then there would have been a trail. And considering that he's already a felon, that would have been bad for him. Why were you guys afraid to call the police on somebody who was so rude and delinquent, who would have benefited from having the police called because they would have seen his priors and judged him correctly and sent him to prison? We can't have the whole Wakanda forever hierarchy and we stand for our brothers stuff with actual criminals. This is not a child who stole bubblegum at a store or a woman who beat up somebody who was beating her up. This is an actual criminal. It is okay to call the police on actual criminals. It's 2023. We gotta wake up. We gotta wake up. It's not always as history would make things seem, guys. Ugh. So that whole scene just annoyed me because it let me know that I was right. And that their slowness to get the police involved, it was just stupid. So now whatever happens to Maurice and Sabrina, it's just gonna happen. Because y'all should have called the police. That's what y'all should have done. Anyways, next 3. Let's discuss Danny and Preston. Because it was a great moment for me and I loved it. I smiled when Preston came to the salon. I was like, what happened? What happened? He's like, it's not good. It's not good. And he was like, are you okay? She's like, no, I'm not okay. And she actually leaned on him and hugged him and he held her. I was like, oh my God, you gonna let him hold you? You know how Danny is. You know how Danny always gotta project strength and I don't need nobody. But she melted into him. She let him hold her. She let him be the strong one in the moment so she could cry a little bit. This is what I want, Tyler Perry. This is what I want. And I'm calling him Tyler Perry because this is the one thing in the episode that made me smile. This is the one thing that I actually enjoyed. I was almost enjoying the bio stuff until Tyler decided to destroy his character right in front of my face. But this is the stuff that I want, Tyler Perry. Don't Tyrone it. Do not Tyrone. Stop. I liked even how Danny was talking about Preston later on when she was with the girls, where she was just kind of giggling like, you know, he left that girl at the hotel to come talk to me. And I liked it because she was hyping herself up, but she was also saying he really cares about me because he's just gonna leave her like that. And, you know, I kind of like you can tell that she's really feeling it, you know. And I'm so happy. I want this to continue. Mindy is a nice girl. Okay, so I hope she can go back to their farm town and find a nice man. Okay, nice. You can find a nice man. Okay, but it's Danny and Preston. Danny and Preston was one of the ships that kept me watching this show throughout the 5 years. If Danny and Preston were not a thing, I would have given up on this show a long time ago. Which is why I was so upset in like the first few videos you see on my channel. I was so upset at shouting and angry because Tyler Perry was literally taking away one of the few threads that kept me watching this show throughout the bad writing and the acting that was terrible and the foolishness. You know, when I have to say that Hayden is one of the best parts of the show because he's the only one that knows how to act, you know there's a problem. Like, and Hayden is actually the creme brulee guy from High School Musical, so he's been acting for a while, which shows up that he is the only one who knows how to act. So, and even the way that Hayden acts, Hayden's acting is campy. It's almost like he knows this show is a joke, and so his entire character is just like a campy villain. And I wish that other people would just do that instead of trying to take this so seriously, because ain't nobody taking this serious. Honestly, Hayden is the best actor on the show. I don't care what nobody says. Yeah, so Danny and Preston, I enjoyed it. I actually rewinded some of their scenes. Ooh. And of course, you know, he tried to get her to sit and she was like, no, I can't sit. And Gary tried to tell Preston to leave Danny alone and let her process this herself. I almost threw something at my screen. I said, Gary, if you don't GTFOH, please. I was like, why are you talking? Why are you talking? And this is my problem, right? The stupid arc that they're giving Gary is permeating the show so much that Gary forgot that the girls don't like him and now is talking up as if they'll listen to him or they'll care what he has to say. Even at the end when they all left and Gary was like, well, what should we do? And Danny was like, do whatever you want, but leave us alone. And he was just like, looks like the girls abandoned us, as if he's a part of the bros. You know, there's the sisters and the bros. It's like, sir, back up. Back up. Back up. Ew. I was so glad Danny put him in his place a little bit. And she was like, stop. Like, don't talk to Preston. And I was like, exactly. Do not talk to Preston, please. Please. The worst Preston can do is get beat up for his girl. Yeah, and beat niggas up for his girl. Not put his hands on women. And you know what? Let's get into Gary right now. Because I just saw a comment the other day that kind of just chronicled everything that Gary had done. And I think some people need to remember this. Gary almost squeezed the life out of Andy. And then his wife tried to kill Andy on 2 separate occasions. Terrorized Andy, made her afraid for her life. She lost her job, got her house broken into, brought a whole therapist in, knowing that they were going to do a bunch of sexual stuff and pretending that it was therapy when really it was about to be a threesome. Stop, Tyler Perry, we're not. Then he tried to use financial stuff to boo-boo her and push her into the penthouse so he could watch her. And now he's trying to get Paris fired. Not Paris. My God, Robin. He would have tried to get Paris fired. But, you know, he's too low. He's trying to get Robin fired. Not even because Andy is with him, but because Robin is better than him. And he can't have any competition. Why is Gary still on my screen? Tyrone Perry. I can't do this anymore. Like seeing him there, seeing Andy run up to him and hug him, and then seeing the little flashback to the new episode where he's trying to come over again. Every episode he's trying to come over. It's tiring. It's tiring. Get over. Stop. Good God Almighty. Get this man off my screen. He's not even needed anymore. He's not even needed. Hayden can carry the show by himself. Hayden can be the sword everybody's side that cannot be gotten rid of. Hayden is right there. Put Hayden on my... And I don't even like Hayden, but I would rather see more Hayden on my screen than Gary. I'm sorry. Get Gary out of here. Please. God, the fact that I am begging you to get this man off this show, it's just saying something to me. I'm sick and tired of seeing Andy like this. It's annoying. And it makes it hard for her to give anybody advice, even when she might be right for once. Because people were coming at me, talking about how Andy can't say nothing. And it's like, dang, I can't even really fight y'all on that. Because look where Andy is. But when she finally telling Danny what she needs to hear, especially when it comes to Preston, she can't say nothing. Because here she go, getting D appointments with Gary. Get him off my screen. Let's talk about some of the reactions, right? The crying was hilarious. I was laughing. I didn't care. I knew Karen was alive. I didn't care. So everybody crying. It was interesting though to see the reactions, to see how they would react in that situation. So I guess it wasn't a total waste. I wish that one of them would have had a more stoic reaction. But I'm glad the person who was being stoic was not Danny, because that would have been a cop-out. I think it would have been more interesting for Andy to be stoic, because they're so close. You would expect her to break down and cry immediately, but it would have been an interesting narrative for Andy to just act like she doesn't care, but then break down later on. Dang, who would have thought? An interesting narrative. But yeah, didn't happen that way. Yeah, not much to say about Andy. Who cares? I was saving Zach and Fatima for last for very obvious reasons, but we're almost done here. Barely anything happened. I loved Karen's energy in the beginning, but of course quickly ended up hating her all over again. So don't worry, guys. I don't like Karen. I never have. I just think that Aaron would be a good match for her because he makes her better. But yeah, she came in and was immediately all up on Pam. Like, look at everything I lost. Why won't you ever listen to Chop the Curl? And I was like, yes, come at Pam. Come at her. Of course, she didn't have insurance, which is really weird. And this is my problem with Tyrone Perry. He makes characters seem like they dot all their I's and cross all their T's. And then with little simple details, they just don't have it. Like, in what universe does Karen not have insurance? I guess in the same universe that Karen doesn't have somebody to clean up the salon. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't really make much sense to me that she doesn't have that. I don't get that. But anyway, that was that. She was mad at Pam, rightfully so. But then she calmed down when she realized it wasn't Pam's fault and let it go. I'm glad she didn't apologize to Pam because there's nothing to apologize for. If you didn't start the fire now, you would have started it later. Let me not get back into that. I'm sure I spent 10 minutes on it in the beginning. Anyways, later on, how I ended up disliking her by the end of the episode once again is the way she was sort of feeding into Danny's nonsense. And this is my problem with Tyrone and the way that he makes these girls interact. So Danny noticed Zach and was bringing it up, making it into a thing. And Andy for once, and I wasn't here with what she was doing that entire time, but just the sentiment of, let's not make her think she has a chance with him because we don't want her to go back to that crazy place. He's moved on and she's trying to move on. Let's not delude her into thinking that he's still in love with her. I appreciate Andy for trying to enforce that, and I'm disappointed in Danny for trying to make her see that. I know technically Danny would be the one to do that because she knows Zach better than almost everybody there except Karen. And so better than everybody there. So she can probably tell that there's some lingering feelings there. But I would have hoped she would have had sense enough not to blow it up, because Karen is crazy and we don't have time for that right now. We really do not have any time. But yeah, I wasn't happy with Danny there, and I really was annoyed by how Karen was just kind of perking up like, tragedy makes people honest. And I'm like, are you trying to say that he's really in love with you, girl? Get over it. I thought you were finally over it. With Aaron or not, you were actually getting over it. And I was really happy about it, to the point where people thought I actually liked you, for real. Like, people thought you were one of my favorite characters. And I'm like, no, she just rose up in the ranks because the characters I actually like are being stupid this arc. That's just what's happening. But trust me and Karen, she can easily drop low, because that's just how terrible she is. But I was like, Karen, don't even get back into that. Of course, she was like, I know who the baby daddy is, and I'm gonna tease. The minute she said, I know who the father is, I had to check the time on the video. I was like, I know it's about to end right now, because we not gonna hear who the baby daddy is. Tyrone would never let us hear it. Because of course, we just need to know who the baby daddy is, and then he could spend the next episode dramatizing her letting the person know. But he doesn't think that that's how it would work, even though that would be fine for me. So he just decides to drop off on some weak cliffhanger, like we even care. So to all of y'all who were hoping that, because I've heard some people were hoping that the kid would have been deleted and they would have been better for Karen's character, poor y'all. She's still pregnant. And for those of y'all who are saying, when is she gonna show? I don't know how many weeks she is, but I'm sure they explained that however many weeks she's in, she doesn't need to be showing yet. So we'll see. Who cares though? Who cares about this pregnancy? Anyways, yeah, Karen was annoying, but what's new? Yeah, Zach and Fatima. So at first I didn't care. I was kind of on Fatima, like, girl, you know this man don't want her, right? Like, you understand that this man does not want her. Why are you being so dumb? But I can see where she's coming from a little bit. I don't think Zach is in love with Karen, but I think the sparks that he stomped out got reignited a little bit. And I say sparks, like little flickers, little embers of feelings definitely showed through. Like, she was alive. What were you hooking up on her for? Acting like you didn't even remember that Fatima was there. Like, that was weird to me. I don't think that he's just gonna like be all up on Karen now, but we're gonna have to see, because she knows who the dad is, and if it's Zach's, we don't know how this is gonna affect him. What if he confides in her about Michael, his son? If she reacts a certain way, that might also play a part, but I don't know. Honestly, I feel like good writing would be that there's nothing to worry about. Bad writing would be that it is. So we'll just see what Tyler Perry's gonna do. But yeah, I was on Fatima. I was like, girl, you know he not. But I was like, you know what? Tyler Perry is so dumb that even though Fatima shouldn't be worried, maybe she does. So at this point, I'm not even going to pick a side on this. I don't know. I'm going middle ground. I think there was something there, but it'll probably die off by morning because she's alive. And she's just going to do something annoying, and it will annoy Zach, and he'll remember that he doesn't love her because she's annoying, and then he'll make up with Fatima. That is my hypothesis. Let me know what you guys think down below. What else is gonna happen? Yeah, so it's Baby Daddy Chronicles. Put in your votes now. Y'all all know I think it's gonna be Aaron's. Of course, if Tyler wants to be lazy and stupid, he's gonna make it Zach's. But I have a feeling it's Aaron's because she has been fighting to make sure that it wasn't Aaron's. I feel like just to spite Karen, it would be Aaron's. Like, I feel like she would try so hard just to be wrong. Like, strong and wrong. I'm Team Aaron in terms of, I think that's what Baby Daddy is. Please let me know below. Do you think it is Zach's baby, or do you think it's Aaron's? I think it's Aaron's. I'm putting that in right now because we're gonna find out by the next episode. For those of you who look ahead and read ahead, please do not spoil down below. Do not spoil and say who the baby daddy is. Please do not do that. Just say I think it's Zach's or I think it's Aaron's. If you have any inside, because you look at TV Line or other videos where people found out information from a long time ago, please do not do that. Just say whose you think it is and leave it at that. All right. I think that's about it for now. Yeah. These episodes get long and short, but you know, y'all enjoy it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for the comments. I love the engagement, and I'm here to answer, either respond with a heart or comment back, because most of the time I'll be agreeing with y'all. I'll be talking to my fingers are sore. I agree, definitely. Yup. But yeah, in any case, thank you guys so much for watching. See you in the next episode, okay? Because we could talk about the next episode when it comes out and see who was right about who the baby was. I've been saying Aaron from a long time ago, so if I'm right, that'll be cool. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about everything, about this episode, what's going on. Anyways, goodbye, my sires. See you next week. Sue.